if you're scrambling to prepare your your accounting or your accounting numbers and things like that, you probably should already have you should know your numbers. Sometimes I run into entrepreneurs who may or may not know their numbers, and so um, it's a conversation that has to be had right now, and not waiting until the new year to we're already down, three quarters of the year, and also already down a month in the quarter. So you still got 2 months left within this final quarter, fourth quarter, to kind of make some things work or be able to change some things while we're still in this current year.
Absolutely. Now our topic for tonight is actually we're dealing with generational wealth, and event plan and estate planning. How important is knowing your numbers, like you talked about, and doing your taxes and stuff like that? How important is that to building your generational wealth, and then having to be able to do some estate planning as well too?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that knowing what your numbers are like for the current year is a great start to your wealth building, or having a plan. A lot of times folks get to, it's almost April 15th, and on April 10th they're looking at like, hey, so I'm not sure how much I made during the year. And for a person like myself or any other tax professional, when you come to us at last minute, and it's kind of hard for me to give you some planning when I would have probably been a lot easier. It's a lot easier to plan in November right now versus trying to plan in April. So definitely those things are important. Also, making sure that if you're an entrepreneur, making sure that you have the right business structure and your business is structured correctly, to avoid additional taxes. Or if you have an LLC and you're wondering why you're paying that 15.3% of Social Security tax, is very important. And trying to make sure that you're structuring your business correctly is always important for all entities.
So is it safe to say I shouldn't bring my box full of receipts to you on April the 10th, on
Oh
April
no,
the
I
10th?
no, trust me, I will always have clients similar to yourself. If you bring me that box, I'm gonna take that box and I'm gonna have you sit right there with me as we going through it. But hey, you never turn anyone away. But you say, hey, just try to get you to plan better going forward for next year. That's all. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing is an accountant, trying to get folks to plan better going forward.
Yeah, really quick. Can you talk about that? Because I know, and I know there are some people that may be struggling with this though too. But how important is that to do it throughout the year so that you don't get to April the 10th and you're trying to just throw everything together? How important is that setting some time some time apart, whether it's monthly, quarterly, just to kind of put those things together so that when they do come to you, they have everything kind of some semblance of order for you.
So what I suggest that every entrepreneur does is take account of, hey, how it depends on how you're being paid. If you're being paid to 99s, or if you have contracts, how you're receiving your money in, making sure that, hey, you have an accurate running account of how much you brought in, because a lot of times folks get, pulled up by the IRS because someone filed a 1099 on their behalf, but they didn't realize that, hey, that contract that they had with, Bank of America down the street, they forgot to include that in their in the information that was provided to their accountant. And so they're like, "Oh my God, I forgot to do it." No, he didn't forget to do it. Sometimes you forgot to, make sure that that's included in your information that you provided thus far to the accountant. So that's always important to remind folks to do that.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there anyone else that has any questions for Rashad before we move on?
How can we locate you?
Sure, I can be located. I have a website, hollowaytaxservices.com.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I'm fairly accessible.
Okay.
Holloway Taxes on IG. Um,
Got it.
yeah, so fairly accessible. I always tell folks information is free, and when I say information is free, if I know it, I'll make sure you know it. I love to earn anyone's business, but I also want to make sure that you are also knowledgeable in what you're doing and making sure you're staying out of trouble, because I hate hearing horror stories of someone that I may have known or could have helped stay out of trouble. So definitely those things are important to me. So definitely feel free to reach out.
Got it. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, so what we'll do, Rashad, thank you so much for that information and your contact information for people to be able to contact you and connect with you in order to be able to do to be able to do their taxes, because it's important that you that you understand where your money is coming in, where it's going out, how to be able to get those as many tax breaks as you can, especially for entrepreneurs and individuals, to be able to make sure that your money is right. Because if your money ain't right, then trust me, then there'll be a lot of other things that can go wrong for you, and you can't build that generational wealth that all of us need to be thinking about and establishing, especially right now. We need to make sure that things are in place, that we have those things in place for not only us but for the generations that are coming behind us. So that's really important. That's a great segment, Rashad. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity. And also, just as the last words, just is always making sure that you're still in great standing with whatever state you're in. If it's Maryland, Virginia, DC, or wherever in the country, making sure that your business is in great standing, so that you're ready for any opportunities that may present itself. Like, for example, Maryland and Baltimore, I know specifically have grant programs right now for COVID, and so making sure that we're all in good standing to be able to take advantage of those programs.
Yeah, absolutely. That is crucial, because a lot of us as entrepreneurs within our community were not able to take advantage of those programs, because I think that we weren't aware of all of the programs that were available. But then too, what was our responsibility with being able to qualify for those programs. So talking with someone like Rashad will make sure that you're compliant and that you are eligible to be able to get whatever money is out there for you. So it's important that you talk with either, if you already have a tax person, that you speak with them, or you connect with Rashad to be able to do those kinds of things. Because I know that that's been one of the things I've heard. Well, we didn't get the money that we didn't get the money that we should have gotten. Well, a lot of that had to do with us not keeping accurate records. A lot of that had to do with us not being able to know what the criteria was to be able to qualify for it. So we have somebody right here in our membership that will be able to make sure that you're compliant, make sure that you have those tools that you need in order to be able to qualify for all that money, the money that is out there that you're eligible for, because that's what they're there for you. So you want to definitely make sure that you take advantage of that. So thanks again, Rashad. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's
Can I add my 2 cents, Leroy?
Yeah, absolutely, Ken.
Because I use Rashad as my accountant, so I just want to say thank you for holding me down for how many years now? I think it's been a couple years, more than 2.
Yeah, it's been more than 2. Appreciate
it. So we practice what we preach here. When a brother has that service, you want to definitely tap into our resources that are at your fingertips. But I want to go a step ahead just to acknowledge his philanthropic side. Like, I pulled him into the Baltimore County African American Cultural Festival. He's a treasurer there. He's a part of a fraternity where he does so much more just without you knowing what he really does. And so it's not all for profit. He's not all taken from the community. My brother gives to the community, and I just wanted to make sure I said that live while we on Facebook and on my YouTube and all whatever streams we on. I wanted to make everybody know, holla at my man Rashad Holloway, because he's been taking care of my company, 5 Star Enterprise, for years now.
Much appreciated.
Awesome.
That is awesome. Nothing like a personal testimony. I'm telling you, those personal what do you call it, the referrals and like that, the word of mouth and like that, those testimonies like that go a long way. So yes, absolutely, you definitely want to connect with Rashad to be able to do it. And there you have it. DJ 5 Star has given him 5 stars on his on his accounting. So thanks a lot, y'all. So next, we're going to start with our main speaker, and I want to introduce this gentleman. And I've known him for maybe a couple years now, but happened to come across him and his wife, and they're just a joy to actually know, and the great things that they're doing. So I want to introduce everyone and read his bio really quickly. But this is Dr. Dwayne Mangum. He serves as the founder and senior pastor of the Family Worship Center, a place where families can imagine, and it's located in Waldorf, Maryland, since 2018. Dr. Mangum is a graduate of Trinity College of the Bible and Trinity Theological Seminary with a doctor of philosophy, with high distinction in Christian counseling. Dr. Mangum also holds a bachelor and master's degree in business administration and management from Concordia University, as well as an associate's degree in education and training management from the Community College of the Air Force. Dr. Mangum served as the Air Force and in the Air Force and Navy that spanned over 30 years, and also is a retired federal government civil servant with over 25 years of service. And thank you for your service, Dr. Mangum, on this Veterans Day. So for any veterans that we have, we want to say thank you for your service today too. Dr. Mangum is the president and CEO of Blending to Make It LLC, and a certified SYMBIS, which is Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts facilitator, a licensed clinical pastoral therapist, Christian counselor, and certified professional pastoral therapist. Dr. Mangum has authored 2 books, Blending to Make It, Ingredients for a Successful Blended Family, and From the Incubator to the Kingdom, the story of a young man's journey to fulfill his God-given purpose. He and his wife, Michelle, have co-authored a book that is entitled Straight Talk About the Blended Family, Keeping It 100. It's scheduled to release in the fall and winter. Also scheduled to be released this winter is his book entitled Life After Divorce, The Rebuilding Process. Dr. Mangum and First Lady Michelle are the host of the radio show Straight Talk About the Blended Family on the WBGR Health and Wellness Network Facebook Live, which airs every Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30. Dr. Mangum and First Lady Michelle are in a blended family and the proud parents of 3 young adults and 5 grandchildren. Dr. Mangum's quote about the blended families have treasures that are only hidden temporarily, but those that use the shovel of love and forgiveness find them. So I want to welcome and introduce everybody to Dr. Mangum. Dr. Mangum, are you with us?
I am with you, man. I was trying to get you to stop reading all that stuff, man. Just tell people I'm just a servant, man. You know, they tell me to put, the professional people should put together a bio sketch. So I try to do 1 page. I try to keep it as limited as possible. You know, I didn't make nothing or get anything without powerful people like you guys, and being raised in Alexandria, Virginia by a single mom. Found being in a blended family at the age of, I guess, 17. That was my first, extension in the blended family. Then I found I was in a blended family again and again. So I've been doing this thing, man, for 3 generations. And so I understand a little bit about it, just enough to get my nose dirty. But I am grateful to be on this platform tonight. I never take anything for granted that's been given to me. Thank you so much for Leroy. Thank you for BPM, Black Professional Men and Women. And I think that's good, man. You got to have some awesome women with you if you're going to do something phenomenal in society. I won't be before you long, man. I'm a firm believer that you say what you need to say and you get out of the way. But, when I thought about coming on and sharing some things with you guys about estate planning and wealth building within the blended family, notice that the blended family is a very unique family system. It's not for the faint of heart. I don't care what color you are. You have to be engaged. You have to understand the principles of coming into a blended family. I often speak to people that are coming into the blended family. One of the things I talk about, having relationships with the bonus mother or the bonus dad, which now they call, they used to call them the step parents, and the biological parents. One of the things that's really critical, and I often tell people that you need to get premarital counseling. I deal with this as a pastor because people think, we fall in love and we jump into it, but it's a lot of different variables that comes in that particular situation. One of the things that we're talking about generational wealth, we're talking about estate planning. The blended family has so many different moving cameras that emotionally, mentally, and even psychologically, but most of all financially. When you go into a blended family, especially someone that has a child from a previous relationship, someone that goes into this family system, we all have different financial philosophies. And one of the things I often tell people that's getting into the blended family and dealing with their generational wealth, dealing with their estate planning, is understand that everybody has a different focus on finances. You go into a blended family, you come into this situation, maybe, for example, the mother, maybe she saved money for her children's education, and maybe the dad did not do that with his kids. So I was often asked this question real quickly, that what do we do, Doc D? Well, I said, first of all, you need to have a plan. I tell people all the time, when you go into a blended family, you need to sit down, the adults in the blended family, and hash out a plan. If you don't have a financial advisor, I encourage people to get a financial advisor to look at all your finances. Because the reality of going into a blended family, there's some blended family parents are going to pay child support. So that's going to take away from the wholeness of your house. But then you have to have a secondary plan. What happens if somebody passes in a blended family? Do the biological children get all the money, or do the bonus children get some of the money? So what you want to do, you want to sit down, and I often encourage people, if you're in this, is sit down with a state attorney, because there's so many different roads that you can look at this thing. Because I just talked to someone a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, she was married to her second husband for 8 years, and he passed. And the biological kids wanted everything that they had. And I asked the person, did you do a contract or a will? Or did you do estate planning where you had a trust? Did you have somebody that you was designating to handle the finances? And they said no. And so the other children of the father who passed wanted to take the money from his second wife and give it to the first wife. And so what I'm saying is that if we're going to have generational wealth, or we're going to create opportunity in the blended family, then we have to be really smart about it. We have to sit down and talk to some people that know what they're doing. And you got to be honest. You got to be upfront. You got to keep it 100, because a lot of times we don't talk about finances when we go into a blended family, because that's a hush-hush thing. I often tell people in a blended family, you have two characters in the blended family regarding money. You have a spender and you have a saver. Which one are you? And I said, you have to just not save for right now. You have to save for the future. Your children gonna need education. Maybe your bonus children may need some money. So do you have some money? Are you putting away money in a college fund? Are you buying stocks? What are you doing to create the opportunity for your blended family to soar? They have to soar financially, because you know what? You're bringing a lot of people in that have different traditions, different mindsets, and they have a different mindset about money. What are you doing to create a healthy mindset? I often tell people when we talk about money, and y'all know this, you guys are very bright. You know that when you talk about money within the Black community, everybody start looking crazy. You think you're looking crazy now.
Yeah,
Go into a blended family and you start talking about, okay, this if something happens to me, I want my two biological children to run the money. No. You have married into a blended family. So
That's
you
right.
have two young adults in a blended family that maybe not your biological children. They should be able to have something to say. And so that's why I say you have to be able to carve out a niche. Let me back up real quick. And I often tell people this. Most psychologists say that it normally takes 3 to 6 years for a blended family to mesh or to have some type of normality. If you go into a blended family and you thinking that you're going to cause everything to work out your way financially, then you're mistaken. So what I often tell blended families is to sit down and you got to have this conversation. Now, I often tell the ones that are getting ready to get married, y'all need to talk about finances. You can talk about being in love. You can talk about where you're going to live at. You can talk about who's going to drive the car. But let's talk about the real issue. Let's talk about the money. So if you have someone that does not want to talk about money, then what do you do about that? So what I often encourage people is that look at the sliding scale of what happens in a blended family. Remember, a blended family is created from a couple avenues. They created from divorce. They created from death. It's created from adoption. And so when you're getting remarried, you want to go into this position understanding that we got to have a serious conversation about finances. We got to sit down and do a concrete structured budget. And we got to look at the big picture. Most people that go into a blended family, and maybe this doesn't fit everybody, but I know because of my 30 plus years of experience in dealing with this, and even a pastor, and even writing books and talking to blended families all over this country, the biggest problem is that we don't have a financial tool, or we don't accept the financial tool, or we're not on a mutual cooperation to make sure that we're not just living today. We need to live tomorrow. And so what do we do with that? You know, if you're running your business and somebody come into your business and they're in a blended family, what are we going to tell them? You know, if you're dealing a financial business, what do you tell them? Because you got to realize there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of people that have ownership, or they think they have psychological ownership to the funds. And I tell people, no, put things in writing. You know, you have to make some premarital and you have to make some marital agreements to make sure that the biological kids, if something, God forbid, if something happens, if there is another divorce, you know, for blended families, the divorce rate for the second marriage is around 60%. The third marriage is around 73%. Now, those numbers fluctuate because of different communities and different organizations. But the reality is that we in the Black community got to know that the blended family is here to stay. You know what's funny? A lot of people are in a blended family and don't even know they're in a blended family and don't even realize they were in a blended family until maybe they have a conversation with me. I'll have a conversation with my wife. I have a conversation with someone that's talking about blended family. We need to know in the Black community that the blended family is here to stay. that Pew Research said in 2011, 1,300 blended families are formed every day. 1,300 blended families because of divorce, because of death, because of remarriage. And so we have to get a grip on it to understand that we need a plan for our biological children, estate planning. We need to set wills. We need to set trust. And it may seem very difficult, but I often tell people, if you start off in the beginning, if you start having these conversations in the beginning, like I think I heard the great tax gentleman said, the entrepreneur, he said, if you wait till the last minute and bring me all your stuff, I can fix it, but I'm not going to fix it alone. But this what happens when people get married. They wait till there's crisis financially before they want to call on someone. And if you could have had this conversation in the beginning, I often say this, and the last thing I'll say, and I'll open up for questions, is that when you understand how valuable your blended family is, because you got to realize that the people outside of your blended family, the exes, they're going to want to get some of that money. They're going to want to have a say-so in that money. So if you're not doing something to protect your assets, by doing a trust, by doing wills, by doing things that will not only protect you, but protect your children. Again, because I'm in a blended family, because I've been in a blended family, I often tell people that your biological kids and your non-biological kids should be taken care of as well, because this is a package deal. I'm basically done, man. I appreciate my time, man, and
awesome.
You know, ladies and gentlemen.
Dr. Bingham, yeah, let's take questions, and then also want you to make sure that you give your contact information, so if anyone wants to connect with you to be able to purchase your books and everything too. Okay. Did we have anybody that had any questions?
Yes, I would say, what is your advice for initiating the discussion of we need to put our resources, let's say, either in a will or a trust? So, you know, setting the stage to initiate that conversation.
Well, I think great question. Shadid, right?
Mhm.
Okay, great question. Well, I think first of all, you need to know the person you marry to. You shouldn't just marry somebody that you haven't spent time developing a relationship. A lot of times in a blended family, what we don't do, we get into a relationship that we don't know the person's tendencies. We're marrying them because they're pretty. We're marrying them because they're handsome. We're marrying them because they have some type of financial resources. And so, to initiate that conversation, my advice is that we need to talk about the finances of our home. We need to talk about short-term finances, long-term finances, and we need to talk about if something happens to us, which way we're going to go. And I will also offer this, that you may have to bring in a third party. That, again, I'm not a financial planner. I just been doing this for a while, so I'm always reading, because I'm always asked these questions about different things. But I think the part of the initiating this particular question is that know the person you married to, and be willing in the beginning. Here's the thing too. In the beginning, in your premarital setting, you should definitely talk about finance. You should definitely talk about estate planning. You should definitely talk about wills. You should definitely talk about trustees. You should talk about all these things in the beginning before you say I will, because what happens a lot of times, we don't have these conversations until there's a crisis. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, these conversations are open up when there's a crisis. And so I think having a sit down with your significant other, your husband or wife, and say, listen, we need to look at our finances, because if there's a budget in the house, you should know exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out. And then last thing I'll say is that, where do we want to be 5 years from now financial for the whole house, for the kids? What are we looking at? Make sense?
That's good.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Sure, you're
Makes
welcome.
perfect sense.
That's good.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
No other questions?
Oh, no
All
other
right,
questions?
Don't forget to give your contact information, Doc.
I'm on Facebook, Dr. E. Mangum, Dr. Dwayne Mangum. I'm on Instagram, Blending to Make It 2. Let me see. I'm on LinkedIn, Dr. Dwayne Mangum. You can go to my website. My website is www.drduanemangum.com. My church website is www.familyworshipcenterimagine.org. You can catch me anywhere, man. You can, if you need to give me an email, my email address is drblend1, DRBLEND1 @gmail.com. I'm always willing to talk to people, not just about finance, about the blended family, because I believe in the Black community, the blended family has been given the raw deal. Yeah. And I believe that I'm just one person out here that can cause a shift, because not just what I've been through, but what I know. And I understand that we are great in the blended family, but we all need to be educated how to mesh, how to accept, and understand that you have to have patience for your blended family to really be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
That was an awesome presentation, Dr. Mangum. So thank you so much. And that perspective is I think is very unique, because it's not something that we talk about oftentimes. We don't talk about just in a regular family about the financial dynamics and the wealth building and everything like that. But you throw in that blended family, it can become even more. It can be more of a great thing to kind of deal with. And I know me I'll be a little bit transparent. I know with my family, my dad remarried, so I dealt with that aspect of it from his side of the family, with him remarrying and then having my brothers and sisters on from that side of the family. And I ain't going into the details, but you were so right about having those conversations about what happens if somebody passes on, because my dad passed on, and and we had to deal with that situation with the will, with the, you know, with the estate and everything like that. So it's important that you have those conversations and that you make the arrangements so that your family that is left behind once you pass on, they're not fighting, they're not struggling to figure out who gets what, who does what, and all of those things. It's important to have those conversations, and so that everybody knows up front who getting what, or what needs to happen and everything. So those conversations are crucial.
Awesome. That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm appreciative.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Whew. All right, y'all. We got that was excellent. So we're gonna get to our next segment that we have is a speaker, community partner, and just another dynamic individual. And I'm not going to read all of her bio too. I'm gonna let her kind of introduce herself to everybody. I'll give y'all just a little bit. And her name is Sharvette Shirk Rush. She's the founder and executive director of the MEN, and MEN is an acronym for Men Embracing Nonviolence organization. The MEN organization is a grassroots community empowering and uplifting organization, MEN, in addition to educating communities on the subject matter of male domestic violence. Her passion to create an organization that would be the voice for men who are victims of domestic violence originated from her occurrences as a victim and as a perpetrator of domestic violence. Consequently, her thesis masterpiece at the Lincoln University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is the birthplace of the MEN organization. Upon completing her coursework, Sharvette received her Master's of Human Services degree in May of 2013. I'm going to stop right there with reading that. I'm going to let her introduce the rest of herself, of who she is, what she does, and the important thing that she does in the community. And I thought it would be great to have someone come from this perspective to deal with how do you deal with the generational wealth, building generational wealth, creating a plan from this perspective when you have to deal with a blended family, or you have to deal with someone who you either have to separate from, or who you have to deal with that you've gone through a circumstance like this from. So I want to introduce everyone to Ms. Sharvette Rush. Ms. Rush, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Happy Veterans Day to all. How you doing? Again, my name is Sharvette Rush, and I am the CEO and founder of Men Embracing Nonviolence, where we are the voice for men that are victims of domestic violence. The pastor said a whole lot, and everything he said was so true and so on point. I just would like to piggyback on some of that. And one of the things that I want to highlight is credit in building generational wealth, especially from when you are separating from domestic violence. You definitely have to have a hold on your credit. And when I mean a hold on your credit, you need to know what is actually on your credit. Statistics say 80% of us have inaccurate information on our credit report. And the law says that if we have inaccurate information on our credit report, then it has to be removed. So that's one thing that you definitely need to know, regardless of what phase you are in the separation process. Or are you getting reacquainted to someone else, or are you getting married? You definitely need to know where you stand at on your credit. Did your mate put some stuff on your credit that you did not know? Did they take out loans? Did they take out credit cards? Is things reporting in accurately? And one of the reasons why that's very important is when I went through my divorce in 2005, in 2008, I was working at the Department of State, and my security clearance was revoked because I had bad credit. Not that I had a foreclosure or car repossessions, but just, taxes. That's when they was allowed to put tax liens on your credit report. I had taxes, I had medical bills. And 10 years later, it was not discovered until 10 years later, which was 2008, where I was terminated because I had bad credit, and I could not secure a security clearance, okay, a top secret security clearance to hold my position. So once I did that, once I was separated from employment, just recently I started credit repair. And I come to the realization that men that are in domestic violence relationships and that are coming out of domestic violence relationships, the main issue is credit. Now, I did some research, or I attempted to do research around this. And of course, there's nothing out there that really deals with men that are coming out of domestic violence relationships that regarding building generational wealth. So I have a couple of friends that males that were in domestic violence relationships, or I have 2 or 3 that are still in. So what I did, I used my skills from school. Hey, what is one of the barriers when you're in a domestic violence relationship or when you're coming out of a domestic violence relationship? And the consensus was credit, because like, I think the pastor said, if you got child support, if you owe child support, they're slapping that on your credit. If you have, if the separation left you and you didn't pay the rent or you didn't pay the mortgage, that's on your credit. So my thing is, the best advice that I can give, know where you stand on your credit, even if you have what you consider a good score, because now a good score is 725, 750. Still monitor your credit to ensure that everything is reporting accurate on your credit, as well as join a credit monitoring service. It's only like $29.99 a month, where they monitor your credit monthly and for identity theft. Because if you're in a domestic violence relationship or just came out, there's a strong possibility that there may be some identity theft as well. So that's what I really want to leave the group with: credit. And once you master or get your credit somewhat on task, then it becomes a lot easier to build generational wealth, to purchase a home or credit cards. Well, I'm not an advocate of credit cards, but for emergency purposes, credit cards, but things of that sort. It puts you in a better financial position when you have clean credit. So that's it.
Yeah, did we have any questions for Ms. Charvette?
I do. Great presentation. My question is, how do someone that's come out of a domestic violence situation turn to getting themselves better mentally? Because what happens is that oftentimes when they come out of a situation like that, their mental state is not always as healthy as it should be. And so they're not looking at their credit. They're not looking at those financial situations. What advice would you give someone that comes to us and say, Ms. Charvette, I got out of a domestic violence situation. I'm just not in that space to be concerned about my credit. What would you share with them?
First, I would share with them because as my bio said, I was a perpetrator and a victim of domestic violence. Okay. And I had to do reverse engineering.
Okay.
When all this is over, what do I want the end to look like? And once I clearly define what I want to end it look like, and you may not be in that space, in that place right now, and I fully understand that. What do I want the end to look like? So that's what I did. And that's what I suggest to people who I talk to: build it backwards. If you have to, however you have to do it what works for you, but you have to do something, So if you had a magic wand, how would you want your life to look? If they say, well, I want to be, 20 pounds lighter. I want to have this. I want to have that. I want to go here. Then build it backwards. Write it down and build it backwards.
Fantastic.
That's what I would suggest.
Thank you. I just wanted to say this real quick. Reverse engineering is one of the most powerful psychological philosophies when somebody is coming from a broken state, mentally and emotionally. Thank you so much. You answered that spot on. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I had a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So I agree with you. I don't like credit cards either, but to show good credit history and things like that, it seems like you kind of have to have them. So what's your, I guess, advice on that or alternatives to credit cards?
Have them. I don't, just because I don't like them, that don't mean that I don't have them. I don't like paying taxes, but I have to pay. Have them, but keep your utilization under 35%. So when I mean that, don't use your credit card to go out to dinner or to buy your suit. Use your credit card for emergency purposes only, and keep your credit utilization down to 35%, because you really do need credit, that mix. You do need credit cards for the mix, right? But keep your credit utilization under 35%.
Great.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, I'll just put myself on mute. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Now, Sharvette, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Now,
Sure.
for someone who is dealing with, like you said, the separation or even divorce, coming from the domestic violence situation, being a part, whether it's on, let's say, from the male perspective, and him being the being the victim of it, how do you go about, if there's kids involved, how do you go about protecting your kids as far as like what you want to leave for them in those kind of situations, and building that generational wealth? What would you suggest to them? What would you suggest to them about a way of going about doing that and building that for something for your kids?
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was going through the process, I'm gonna tell you what I did, what worked for me. I had a 401k. I had investments for my son. I'm not telling anybody to do this. This is what I did. I depleted all of my investments because I knew that that's the first thing that my spouse would go after in the divorce. And I promise you, just as sure as I'm sitting here, that's exactly what he did. He went after the assets that I had for my son, which I depleted. And I depleted them while I was still in the marriage, because I read a lot and I knew what I was doing. I took a hit tax-wise, but I would rather do it that way than for you to go after the assets that I had for our son. And it was both of our son, right? So then what I did after that, I started, after the divorce and all that, I started rebuilding again. And I'm not saying that may be the best course for everybody, but that's what works for me. Like the pastor said, you definitely need a financial advisor. That's very, 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 very important. And you need to talk to the tax gentleman as well, because there are tax implications when you prematurely take your money. But that's what I did. So I depleted everything while I was in the marriage. And then once I got out the marriage, I started investing in, insurance and doing things like that again for my son, because I just didn't feel as though that if I put the money in, that I should split it with you. And so one of the things was I had back then a Saturn, and I took the money out of my 401k and paid off my car. As soon as we went to court, that's the first thing he asked for. Well, where's the money that was in the 401k? I was like, hey, I paid off my car. And the court couldn't split the car in half. You can't split the car in half. But all I'm saying is that every situation is different. When you're going through separation or divorce, domestic violence, it's not a cookie cutter. You have to do what works best for you in that situation, and you have to take some risk. And I'm a risky person. So it didn't matter to me that I had to pay taxes on that. It didn't matter to me. So again, every situation is different and you have to do what works best for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Sharvette, you want to give your contact information for those that may want to reach out to your
Sure.
organization and the great things that you're doing?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook and IG at Men Embracing Nonviolence. And you can find me on LinkedIn under Sharvette. My middle name is Shirk, SHIRK, and the last name is Rush. On Facebook and LinkedIn, you can find me right there.
Spell your first name for everybody, Tisha.
My first name is spelled CHARV as in victory, ETTE.
Absolutely. Did we have any other questions for Ms. Sharvette?
I just wanted to say, this is Terrence Bradshaw. I just want to say thank you to you for your story and input, and also thanks to Reverend for his story and his input, both for motivating and definitely something that people can utilize and apply to their life. So thank you both for speaking with us tonight.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're moving very quickly tonight, and I think that this has been a wealth of information. So hopefully those that are watching will be able to take this information, to be able to use it, or if they know of someone that can use this information, I think it'll be a great usefulness for them. Now I do have a slight audible that we're going to add to the agenda tonight. It's not necessarily on there, but it's kind of on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring on Your Health Matters just before we bring Cornell to do his health tip, and this kind of leads into him. So Cornell, if you want to actually do the introduction, I'll let you do that, and then we'll have you go right into your health and fitness tip that you usually give, if that's okay.
Okay, yes, that's good, Leroy. I didn't want to step on your toes. So we're going to switch it up from generational wealth to generational health. So the speaker is from an organization called Black Health Matters, and basically they spotlight issues in the Black community. So last year, we dealt with prostate cancer. That was the focus for 2019. And for 2020, there's a rare disease that I'm going to let her say because I'm going to butcher the name of it. But it's a genetic mutation that's prevalent in people of African descent and also people of Irish descent. So that's just the two people that, that are most likely to get it. So it's about 4% of people that have it, so that's 1 in 25. And she's gonna, shed some light on that. And there's actually going to be with the doctors a program tomorrow evening from 7:30 to 9. So you guys can sign up for that. I'm going to put the link in there. And she should be calling in now. Do you guys see her in there?
Yes.
So Miss Leslie.
Leslie, you are on. Please say hello.
Okay, hold on a second. I think I'm in two places. Hold on a second.
So while you're doing that, Miss Leslie, I gave a small intro, and I told him I could not pronounce the disease, so I'm going to let you handle that.
Okay, why am I getting feedback? Do you guys hear feedback on your end?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hearing an echo. Yeah, I was hearing an echo too.
Yes. So somebody needs to mute.
It may be me on mute.
Uh-oh. Let me try it again.
You're clear now.
Oh, I am?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Black Professional Men of Baltimore. Thanks for inviting me today. And I want to say thank you to any of you out there who are veterans. Happy Veterans Day. So thanks so much for your service. I hope to not take too much time. I'll take a few minutes just to tell you a little bit about the program, who we are, and I know you've worked with us in the past, so that's great. And I'll share my screen, if that's okay. Host disabled attendee screen sharing. So it says I can't share it. Is that true?
One moment.
Okay.
The tech team is on it.
Great. Thanks so much. You are a co-host now. Okay, so I guess I can. Can you guys see my screen at all?
I think it's coming up. Yeah.
Do you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No? Okay, hold on a second here. Let's see here. Why is that the case? Share screen. Here it is. Now you can see it, I hope.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So thanks again for participating in our program. This is something that we work in a number of different areas, and this area is in the rare disease space. So I did hear a little bit of the intro from Cornell in terms of the facts around the disease. So I'll just take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do. I know you've worked with Carol in the past on our prostate cancer program last year, and we are continuing that initiative as well. So I don't know if you know this, we were launched in 2012 by my friend and former colleague at Boston University. I won't tell you how many years ago, but by Rosalind Daniels. And we're a community engagement platform connecting with African Americans. And really the reason for our birth, Rosalind had this vision going back in 2012 when the Affordable Care Act was launched. And the idea was that we were going to actually promote and educate people about their options around the ACA. Seems like we're almost back there again with this new administration. Hopefully we'll get it even stronger than ever. So we started as a content platform, and then we actually started moving into the community a little bit more with our programs. So we not only do consumer engagement, we have a digital and a social platform. We also provide educational programs. We have a newsletter. Then we also work with a lot of the medical associations like the Association of Black Cardiologists and the AMA to help educate and work with doctors as well. So our Black Health Matters, I don't know if you've seen the hashtag, but it's been used over 74,000 times on Instagram. It's something that we pretty much own as like a trademark. And we've been able to, and now especially at this time with, you know, what's going on with Black Lives Matter and racial injustice, it's actually propelled us forward in terms of bringing more programs into the community. And with COVID-19, it's really been very impactful. So here you'll see a little bit about what our demographics are. We're trying to bring our number of men up, but it's 64% women and 36% male. The topics we focus on are, we have over 26 channels on our website, but the ones that rise to the top for individuals even now are heart disease, mental health, and diabetes. And I guess if we did another poll, we'd find out that COVID-19 is probably at the top. And then here are some of the partners that we've worked with. We work with not only sororities, fraternities, and civic organizations like yours, we also work with medical facilities, University of Chicago Comprehensive Cancer Center. We work with Northwell Hospital in New York, that whole hospital group. we worked with a number of medical medical experts at facilities across the country. And then during COVID-19, just on our own, back in, I guess, March and April, we decided to put together a Facebook Live series, and we invited medical professionals to actually talk about different issues affecting us. And it went over really, really well. So with that, we've been able to continue doing Facebook Live now as a platform, since we really can't be in the market. And we got really good reception from all of these. And you can find a lot of these sessions either on our YouTube channel or in our or on our Facebook page. This is an example of our interactive summit. We held it July 18th, and we had our second one October 10th. And we had more than 1,000 people attend the platform. It was multi-topic. You can actually go in, if you're interested, I can give you the link. You can go in and look at the last summit we had in the fall. It was bhmfallsummit.bfairs.com, but we actually had fitness instructors. We had a mental health panel. We did a session on prostate cancer, and, you know, almost any topic you could think of, we covered. We had a culinary doctor who actually cooked. She calls herself the culinary doctor, but she actually made a recipe, and people were able to follow along and the whole piece. So that's something that we're continuing. And our next summit will be in February 27th, during Black History Month. When we'll have it partially in Harlem, maybe a small group in New York, and the rest will be virtual. And this just kind of shows you it's interactive. These were all avatars, so you'd see people walking around. And then we also had an exhibit hall where we'd invite you, and if you'd like to partner, please let me know, because you can actually set up a booth in the exhibit hall that looks like you're at a trade show. I don't know if you've ever participated in these type of summits, but we allowed a lot of our partners to set up booths, and people would actually come in and chat with them on this platform. And some individuals sold merchandise, that kind of thing. So let me just move forward. So now I'll get into talking about the actual program that you'll be viewing tomorrow. It's called Know Your Genetic Health History. And like I mentioned, this is our second year doing this. Last year, we were actually on the ground. We held 3 events in Philadelphia. We had 3 in New Orleans and 3 in Chicago. And the focus is really around knowing the importance of your family history. And our partner, Alnylam, has partnered with us because African Americans, I think there's 3 major groups that rise to the top that are most at risk for this hereditary ATTR amyloidosis. I know it's a hard word to say. In fact, I was working on the account for almost a whole month before I could even pronounce it myself. And we've done radio spots, and I've had to give people the phonetic pronunciation of it. But it is an actual disease, and it hits our community really hard. 1 in 25 people have it. They actually anticipate that it's more than that, but we don't know because a lot of people haven't done genetic testing, and it also sometimes mirrors other diseases. So in tomorrow's presentation, they will actually talk to you about we'll have a doctor as well as a patient advocate that spends some time talking about the disease. That person tells their story, and it's African American usually. I believe it's one for the person's African American tomorrow as well. That tells their story in terms of not from a negative or horrible standpoint, but more so from an inspirational standpoint to let you know that you can live with this, because it can be debilitating if you don't know you have it or if it goes untreated. So as a matter of fact, when we had our summit in the summer, we had a speaker talk about it, and I had 2 people, I was actually surprised, that came back to us and said that they felt they had it and they were interested in the genetic testing. So part of this is, it's not just building awareness of genetic testing and the disease, but also our client Alnylam is offering third-party genetic testing to people that think they qualify at no cost to them. So that's an incentive for people that may feel like they have some of the conditions around it. They also offer you a connection with a cardiologist. They have a full site that actually you can put in your zip code and you can find a specialist that might know about the topic because it's not as well known. I mean, we know about rare diseases like sickle cell or lupus or even sarcoidosis, but this is like one of those other types of rare diseases. I'm going to take a breath right here and see if there's any questions at this time. No. So basically the format of it will be the host from the your organization, whoever the lead person is, they'll speak for a few minutes, welcome the group. And believe me, you can invite anyone you like. It doesn't have to be just those members of your group. We certainly want everyone from your organization to be on this meeting, but also your family members, your friends. You can invite people throughout the state, people in other states. The reason why we focused on Baltimore is because the patient educator actually works that area. And so if someone needed some help or assistance, they could actually reach out to that patient educator and they can help them with services and resources and things like that. So that's why we have this in Baltimore. So basically what we ask of the organization is that we hope to have 50 attendees. Right now, I think we're at 20 people that registered, so we want to get those numbers up. We've already confirmed the date as tomorrow. We have your logo. I see you've been promoting them. Thank you so much on your social media. So I have seen that, and we provided all the promotional materials to you. What you'll receive, and you received all of that. We also have, I don't know if you've seen it, the Game Changers in Medicine calendar. We actually have a physical calendar, but we also have a downloadable version. So if that's something that tomorrow they'll share with you the site, on the platform, you'll be able to download the calendar. If you decide you would like to have a physical calendar, we could actually mail it to you, Cornell, and you could make sure that individuals get it if you want, you know, however many you want. We originally had created this with the purpose of giving it out when we went to events. But of course, with COVID, we've had them and we've given out a lot already. I mean, we've distributed over 2,000, but we still have some left. So that's possible. So we ask that each person register in advance. They listen intently. There'll be questions you can ask in the chat room. And then there's a short questionnaire at the end. And then we actually will, from Black Health Matters Foundation, provide you with a check in the amount of $1,500. It probably won't be 7 to 10 days following the event. It might be 30 days, but for your participation, we will provide you with that payment.
Absolutely.
So are there any questions for me at this time?
I was going to say, just
So
where they can go register.
What's that?
No, I was just saying if you could, just where people can go to register for the
Yes.
event.
So I will send, let me give you the link. It should be on the flyer. That's on
So it's on there, but if you can say it out loud too, Leslie, for the people that are watching on Facebook
Right.
Okay,
or
hold
YouTube.
on, I'm gonna I gotta pull it up myself because it's a long link. The platform is called On24. And so it's a bit of a long link, but what we can do, hold on a second here.
Can we put it in the chat, Cornell?
Yeah, I can do that. I can put the whole flyer in the chat. Let me pull that up. Hold on.
Yeah, we can put it in the chat.
Yeah, that
And
might be the
also,
easiest way to do it too.
Yep. And also, Jonice might be able to help with that. Also, I just want to clarify, it's webinar style, so the people that are attending won't be on camera, correct?
No, the attendees will not be on camera.
Yes. So for anybody that's camera shy.
No, if you ask a question, we won't be able to see you. We won't be able to see you, and your question, we won't even use your name or anything like that because we're concerned about privacy as well. So let me. All right.
How you doing today?
Yes, Jonice put it in the chat. Thank you, Jonice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's a bit.ly link for anybody that's watching, and it's BHM for Black Health Matters, and those are capital letters. It is case sensitive, but BHM Virtual Program 1112. But it's on our Facebook. It's on our social media. So not in that link. That was a shortened link.
Right.
So that connects you to the On24 platform.
Yeah.
I had a question, Ms. Leslie.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of this? I know we're probably gonna cover it, but just so maybe we might know someone that has some of the signs and symptoms we can invite for tomorrow.
Yeah, so a lot of times what happens is it takes a long time for a lot of people to get diagnosed with this, but carpal tunnel syndrome is one, fatigue. I have a whole newsletter with all of them on it. Numbness in your hands or tingling. In some cases, people have unexplained weight loss. You also might have, and it's not all of these together. It could be a different combination, but sometimes people have, weakness in their legs and they might fall or whatever the case is. But there's a lot of different, sometimes it feels like it might be like people might think they have fibromyalgia or something like that, and it's not that. And so what we've learned is with a lot of the patients that we've talked to, the African-American ambassadors, they call them patient ambassadors, it took them a while to learn because most cardiologists don't know about the disease, or your regular doctor may not even know about it. And so they would go from one specialist to another to get diagnosed. And then, eventually they might run into someone that knows. But now the reason why we're doing this is because there are doctors that are specialized, are specialists in this area. In fact, most of the doctors, I can't remember who we have tomorrow, but are African-American doctors that we usually have presenting this, and the Association of Black Cardiologists, members of those types of organizations that actually have been trained to look for the signs. We've actually connected Alnylam educators to train a medical Daughters of Charity New Orleans, which is 5 medical centers in New Orleans. They train the doctors there to look for the signs of that as well, because it's not very well known. But it is something that is genetic. And most of the individuals that we've talked to that have had it, they find out later, oh yeah, my father had this, or my uncle had this, or something like that. Doesn't mean you'll get it, but if somebody has had it, at least you can, find out if you have a predisposition for it. And they also have, as part of this, a free subscription or a free partnership with 23andMe. So if you end up having it and you end up getting the genetic test, you find out you have it, they actually are offering a way for you to connect with your relatives, and they could actually get genetic testing as well and participate in the 23andMe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, we have a comment from our president for you, Leslie. Take it away, Hassan.
How you doing? I wanted to kind of take a moment to reflect on or to highlight this partnership. And a lot of people may not know how this partnership works and all the other areas of health your organization focuses on.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that y'all have different projects throughout the year that y'all focus on. So I don't know if you have a list of what is upcoming and or
Yeah, I could probably tell
you
you.
want to share what y'all have covered so far.
Yeah, so we've been working on this program with Alnylam and hATTR amyloidosis. We actually have gone to already. We've done 15 events so far. We'll also continue into next year. But we have prostate cancer. We have a program, and the way our programs work generally is that they are focused on certain markets where, for example, with prostate cancer, it's more around markets where they have a clinical trial or something where people could actually participate. So that's why last year we did the program in Baltimore, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and I believe, I can't remember the fourth market. But so that's how the markets get selected. But we have prostate cancer. We're doing a program around lung cancer in Black men because the rates are so high. We also have, what was I going to say? Clinical trials and diversity in clinical research. That's an initiative that we're working on with a couple of different clients. I'm working on a program around COVID-19 to educate people about resources for COVID-19, and that's going to be probably in the highest. Well, right now it's coming back and it's trending high almost everywhere, but in Arizona, Texas, I believe California, and I can't remember the other market or the other state.
Maybe Florida.
Yeah, Florida, definitely, yes. Florida is one, of course. So, and we also have, I'm just thinking off the top of my prostate, we just finished a breast cancer program. We also have one around kidney disease and a variation of it, which is called kidney FSGS. So a lot of this we can actually, if you're on our newsletter list and blackhealthmatters.com, you go up, sign for a newsletter, you can actually then get information on what programs we have, or if there is something coming up in your market that you're interested in, whether it be lung cancer, clinical research, those are pretty open to doing it anywhere. We can do that as well. Do you guys have your own newsletter or e-letter that you send out, e-blast?
Yes.
So one of the things we've been doing as well is providing content for certain organizations if they'd like to partner with us. So for example, the AKAs have an initiative around caregiving. And so we created, since we are a content platform and we have so much content, we created a newsletter for them around caregiving during COVID-19. And we just provide that to them as an e-blast, and they send it out to their organization. We have worked with the Omegas. We've provided a newsletter to them around different topics that are important to them based on their pillars, whether it be prostate cancer or whatever. So that's something that we offer as well. And then, of course, like I mentioned, if you're interested in being in our summit and there's no charge to you, we would love to have you, and you could actually have a booth in our exhibit hall.
Okay, that sounds exciting. And Cornell, he's going to set up a time where you and I can kind of talk one-on-one, and we can kind of move that forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I can, if you go into BHM Fall Summit, I can put it in the chat actually. You can actually look at the
but for the sake of time, I want to be mindful of our other speakers.
Sure.
But we can definitely Cornell would definitely set up that one-on-one with us.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I'll set that up. I'll handle that.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie, for making some time for us.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. And have a good evening. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. We do as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Cornell, we're going to roll right into you. Now, understand you all that tonight, even we're talking wealth, but we're also talking health, because you can't build wealth if you don't have your health. Trust and believe that. You know, no matter how, and I always look at it like this, no matter how rich Steve Jobs was, it did not cure what he passed from. So it's important that we take care of ourselves, that we understand what's going on with our bodies, that we do our checkups, so that we can be here as long as we need to be here, and we can build that generational wealth, that legacy building that we need and want to have for our family members, for that generation that's coming behind us. So it's important for that. So with that, I'm gonna let Cornell go right into his fitness fitness minute, and give us just a quick tip for this evening, and then we're going to have Mr. Everett come up with our mastermind minute as well.
Yes, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. So it's no echo on my end now, right?
Now you good.
No, okay. I think that was me earlier. Okay, so health is wealth. So kind of just tying everything together that we talked about. To me, money is very similar to weight. So people may want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, but they kind of wanted to just drop off in the same manner that people want a get rich quick idea. So there's a few rare people that works for, but for most of us, it just doesn't work like that. So in the same manner that somebody may see a penny on the ground, some people pick it up for good luck, but some people may just step over it. That's dirty. I'm not picking that penny up. Then if it's a quarter, somebody, more people might a quarter. If it's $1, most people are definitely going to pick that up. And if it's $100, then probably everybody's going to pick it up. So in the same manner with the weight, somebody's working out, trying to eat better. They see they lost 1 pound. They're like, man, 1 pound, that's it. Then they see 2 or 3. It's kind of like, I just don't know if this is worth it. But, at the end of that, if you look back over the course of 3 months, 6 months with consistent diet and exercise, and you see you lost 20, then it's like, okay, all right, this is working. So I just want to kind of put that out there for people's mindset. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will work. If you save money, it will add up to be something, so the same way, it's some blessed people that might want to gain weight, so same thing. If you're one of those lucky people, they're trying to put on some muscle, same thing, it will happen for you. So that's my fitness tip.
So you mean I can't play the lottery and get rich that way?
You can try, but you might be one of those lucky ones, you might not. So but I'm on all social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I'm Fitness. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brother Cornell. We appreciate it. Brother E, where you at?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's everybody doing? Good. This is some great content tonight. I thank all the speakers and everybody for participating. This is the part of the program where we're going to go over some health. We're going to go over some wealth generation. This question tonight, I'm going to put it in the chat here. I'm going to send it out to everybody. And the topic is, what is the best gateway investment and why? Open-ended question. No answer is wrong. You always know there are a gateway to other things that's a negative. Let's go with something that's positive, which is a gateway to investments and why, so that we can generate financial wealth and generational wealth as well. So I'd like to start it off. Let's see if we can start it off with Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark Samuel. Thanks for, do you have any comments about this, Mr. Mark? We go around and ask anyone to participate. Let's ask for some volunteers first.
This is Charvette. I think one of the ways to a gateway, and I think that is overlooked a lot, is insurance, because some insurance you can save money in the insurance policy. Of course, you would have to speak to your insurance agent, for further details. But that's a gateway to generational wealth is an insurance policy, and it accrues cash, so because I have one. So I think that and I didn't know it until someone actually told me about it.
Awesome. That is one way. I can speak on that. And you do accumulate cash, and they'll show you the amortization to that whole schedule and how long it takes. They'll show you the analysis of it. So that's a good gateway. Thank you very much.
Can I piggyback off it? Can I piggyback off of that, Everett?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to give you, it's one of the things, and I remember watching this video some time ago, and this was maybe a couple of years ago, Dr. Umar Johnson, he talked about that we as a community don't think about passing generational wealth through life insurance, like you just mentioned, Charvette. And it's so important that we do have those life insurance policies, because it does pass on the wealth that we have. For those that may not know, Master P started his business off of his life insurance policy that he had, or that his money that he was left by, I think it was his grandfather or grandmother, one of them, that they had passed down to him. So that is definitely a gateway for investments, for generational wealth and passing wealth on. Trust me, because other communities do it, and that's one of the biggest ways, largest ways that they pass on wealth, that they obtain wealth, I should say, is being passed down from generation. So that's a great answer, Charvette.
So one of the things we want to look at when we talk about a gateway investment is, what is a gateway drug, right? And the concept of a gateway drug is something that is harmless, right? Kids normally start off with cigarettes because they feel cigarettes won't kill you, even though it will, right? But in their mind, it won't kill you. When people look at insurance, they look at, okay, it costs so much money, and they have to see that money go away. So sometimes it's hard for people to be able to make that quick decision. But there are savings bonds. There's something you can purchase that can mature over 20 years. You can buy one a year, you can buy one a month. Those are what one can call a safe, something that you can do that is safe. And as you get that quick win, then you would get addicted to that quick win. And so one of the inspiration behind this is to be able to encourage people to be able to go on their own and start any kind of investment. And maybe, in 30 days, if you don't have any kind of investment, you can seek out a investment that you can just do on your own, that you don't have to call anybody. You don't have to do a whole lot of research or take a whole lot of risk to do.
Excellent.
So besides savings,
how
do you know any other kind of gateway investment?
In my research of this topic, I wanted to have a few things. I don't want to mention those yet. I want to give the audience the opportunity to say some extra ones, and I have some fillers. Are there any other gateways? Any one of these?
I think Shadi has his hand up.
Yeah. This is the sleeper pick, but content. When you look at content as an asset class or as a gateway investment, is often overlooked. But when you compare it to, let's say, real estate or stocks, those all require either credit, capital, contracts, or some form of knowledge. But with content, you can package your experiences, what you've been through, what you know, what you've done on a job, and you can put it into ebooks, you can put it into audiobooks, you can put it into paperback, you can create a blog, And if you create content libraries, most notably Netflix, Hulu, Amazon are all content libraries, then you can generate the startup capital to invest in your stock market or to get a property, so on and so forth. So it's the perfect gateway investment vehicle because you're starting with something you already have. Creating content is very inexpensive and it's residual. So you create it once and you can sell it forever. So it also has that generational wealth component if you add it to your trust. So content is the sleeper pick of the year.
Okay.
You know what?
Wow, that's a good one.
Sadi, it is funny you say that because Jawar. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because Jawar, he wrote a book on how to self-publish, and he encouraged me to publish like 9 books on Amazon, and I would get money from the United Kingdom and all these as wild places just because they searched for my book and brought it. So that is a sleeper one right there, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Dr. Magnum.
Yeah, man, you guys are quick, man. I'm a slow cooker, man, but I think this is a great question. For me, I know that writing books and the royalties, self-published books, and I thank the brother for saying that. I even thank Sadi for saying what he said, because I believe that in order to even build generational books, build generational wealth for my children, is that they're going to be trusted with the royalties of what my books are going to do. So I think that's really good, because I self-publish all my books, so I own all the rights to them. Nobody owns them. I made sure that they couldn't own nothing because I wrote them. And so it's interesting because I'll say this, because I own my own books, there's been people trying to get me to go with these quote unquote national publishers so they can take my rights. And I told one person, no, this is for my children and my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, to utilize my royalties. But thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate what you all said, because you own your own content, your life experiences, what you put in a book and what you put in your content. That's who you are. Nobody can duplicate that. So thank you very much.
Awesome. That intellectual property is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting the legal eagles behind that so that someone can't, swoop in there and try to duplicate you. So you have it viable. Make sure you seek appropriate attorneys so that you will be set up for success.
That's good.
I see somebody else has some. Who else has some comments about the gateway to investments? Can we talk a little bit more about why is that exactly also?
So I have one. I definitely appreciate everything everybody said. So 401k to me is a good gateway. Particularly if you have a traditional job where they offer a 401k or there's some type of match. Because particularly now in 2020, you can, so much information just available on the internet, so you can actually see what, is being invested in. So even if hey, they're taking $50 out of my check each pay, you can actually look and see, okay, is this Fidelity that's running my 401k? They invested in this, they're doing mutual funds, the S&P 500. So you can actually see, and, even with the whatever small amount of money that they take out, it's a lot of information that's, available. So.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All righty. Who else is out there is holding on some nuggets? I have some nuggets, but I'm gonna see who else is out there.
Everett, I got one that
Yes, sir.
is not high risk, and it actually
All
helps
good.
you build your credit too. It's an app called Digit. And basically what it does, it pulls money out once a month, and that money accumulates for you, and it actually goes into a CD bond, and then in turn you take that money and it builds up. You're basically causing yourself to build up your own credit line, and after the 12-month term, you'll be able to have a credit card. After you pay the processor fee of $39, you'll have a credit card for $548, saving up monthly $48 a month. So that one builds up your credit, two, it builds up a savings CD, and three, you're building up your credit so that you can build off of other stuff, because like the sister Charvette said, your credit is important, even though you don't really like the credit card thing, but it does help you build up your line of credit in the long run.
Is it digit.com, Terrence?
Yes, DIGIT, digit.com.
Terrence, I think that's actually Self.
Oh, I'm saying it wrong. Excuse me. Self. Yes.
Yeah, Digit is a different savings plan.
Digit is a different savings one. It is Self. Yeah. I got both of them. I got Self and Digit. So excuse me for that. It is Self.
We know you're in therapy. You might be on pain meds. I understand.
That is exactly what's going on right now.
That's with some great content there.
What is it? Self.com?
Yes, self.com. It helps you.
Write in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'll put it in the chat. It actually helps you build up your credit, and you're putting money towards a CD savings account, and that CD savings account in turn turns into a credit card that you're able to use after the 12-month term. Now, if you make the payments on time for 3 months straight with no lateness, they offer you an early term credit card, and you set your own credit limit. So it does establish a credit line for you with your own money.
Awesome.
That's good stuff. Yeah, that's
now
good.
I'm going to put in 3 things that I suggested. Now I'm going to put them in the chat here. These are apps. This is a good gateway. If you want to start investing in the stock market without having to put up monies, and you could take pennies on the dollar of some of the funds that you use out of your change that you instead of you taking that change in your credit, you take that change left off for that $1.50, that extra 50 cents that you have, move it to like a Stash, or Acorn, or Robinhood apps. And these apps will allow you to get invested in the stock market, getting a portion or a section of it and getting involved in it without the big costs that it will cost to getting some stocks out there. So those are my tips right there. Stash, Acorn, and Robinhood apps. These are some of the ways, and why is because they are low entry points. You can get in them really quick without a bunch of red tape. You get online, get your account, and the pennies you've been sort of like putting them in a jar. Remember putting the little pennies and dollars in your jar and you stack them up. The only thing you read it and put it inside of your little investment account.
That's good stuff.
So Everett, can we do this? And maybe this is a question for you and Shadi. Can we start a hashtag where people can post or we can do a post in our Facebook group and or on our Facebook page, and people can reply to it with the specific hashtag indicating that they are engaged in a gateway investment.
Okay.
And then we can give them one of our wonderful gifts. I'm gonna let Shadi kind of pick one out that he would want to give.
Sounds like a great project. Now, anyone else have any other things out there? If I turn it back over for the president.
I just want to add one thing. I'm not sure if it happens for Acorn, but since Terrence brought up Digit, it's one that I use. So for people that are self-employed and may not have a regular scheduled paycheck, you have to be careful because they use algorithms to pull money out. So if you get paid, every 1st and 15th, it's easy. But if you get a payment on the 1st, if you get a payment on the 3rd, if you get a payment on the 5th, it'll be taking money out of your account multiple times in a month. So it's good because you're saving, but it can get hard to manage, for somebody that doesn't have a regular paycheck. So so put that disclaimer out.
Sporadic income is
yes.
maybe an issue, so you have to watch that.
Yeah, that's when you got to turn off the automatic withdrawal and do manual withdrawals. So
now you tell me, Terrence.
Well, I'm just you got to read the fine print. So I got mine set up to automatic, and it hits a limit too that you can set. Once your checking account gets below a certain amount, you can set it to $100. It'll stop saving, and it'll take some of the money from the savings account and put it back into your checking account. So it is functional like that also too. So it's a time saver, and it also helps you where that if your money's getting low, it'll automatically put back money into your account for you too. So, and that's Digit that does that. Actually, I can't take the props on that. Shadi's the one that put me on to that a couple of months ago.
All right. Okay.
That's good stuff, y'all.
I thank everyone for participating, and hopefully one son got some good ideas and be able to take advantage of them. I'm going to turn this back over to Brother Leroy.
I'm going to post the hashtag on the group. Jonice gave us the hashtag of BPM investment, and so we're going to roll with that right now.
Cool.
Great.
Yep, that sounds good. So again, I'm going to reiterate what Everett just said. I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. The speakers, thank you. We're going to turn it over now to our president. Mr. President, are you there? And so he can give his report and then
yes.
close out.
Yes, I am here. First of all, I want to thank everybody for all of their hard work. A lot of times, a lot of people don't think that we're doing a lot of things. They just see, a lot of emails go through or a lot of posts go out. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of people doing a lot of great work. And I just want to take this moment to kind of recognize them. This last month, we did a Halloween candy giveaway. And it was with our traditional plug and play format. And with that, we was able to provide approximately 300 to 400 kids with free candy. And we was able to partner with a few other organizations that donated the funds for the candy. We was able to partner with our location partner, which is Next Act Cinema, as their goal is to be able to do more community activities. And then we was able to pull in our partners from PTA and the schools. And pulling that all together, it really made, many hands make light work. So I do want to recognize that team, our youth development team, for the hard work that they did for that activity. I do want to also let people know that we do have a virtual after-school program in development. And we have a Thanksgiving initiative. Our Thanksgiving initiative is we are going to deliver 150 meals to underprivileged families over the Thanksgiving holiday. The concept behind it, I think, is very innovative by one of our members, Minister Brian Bortley. We're going to be able to provide pre-packaged or uncooked food to these 150 families in the proper, appropriate packaging. And then we're going to do a Zoom call that was going to help them, train them on how to cook it. So on Thanksgiving, they will be able to have all of the fixings, all of the items they need to be able to make Thanksgiving dinner for their family. So again, we're going to, and we are accepting donations to be able to increase that number. So $25 feeds a family. So our goal is to be able to, of course, double that and do 300 families, but we're starting with 150. We are also planning to have, I want to say it is some holiday youth movie nights at Next Act Cinema. So it'll be a hybrid with a mixture of in-person. Obviously, there's limited sitting in the theater, but there will be, we will use our virtual platform to be able to view the movie virtually. More importantly, during the event, we're going to have a hands-on arts and craft activity for the youth. So I'm very excited about that. Now, we do also have our platform for virtual venues. It is a initiative that we was able to develop a partnership with to help other organizations like ourselves be able to hold virtual conferences without having to have a heavy bill. So more information on that is available upon request. So anybody that is interested with that, please reach out to our team. And that is all that I have for my president's report for this month. Thank you.
There was a question in the chat about where you could give for the endeavor for Thanksgiving.
I think Jonice is on top of that. I see her fingers working.
If Shadi can post the link.
Yeah, I think Jonice is getting ready to post the link.
Do she have? I don't know if she have the link.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she had it.
Okay, yes, and she said hold on for a sec, but she's gonna be posting that. But
Yeah, remember stuff is going on behind the scenes, Mr. President, like you said.
Yes. So
anything else, Mr. President?
Yeah, for all of our BPM members with businesses, just remember there's an opportunity if you wanted to donate to be able to have your business material included in that package to those families. So those underprivileged families, underserved families, may be also interested in your products and services.
Absolutely. So thank you, Mr. President, and hopefully that information will be put in the chat there. But this has been a great evening. Once again, I want to thank Dr. Mangum. I want to thank Ms. Charvette for coming and speaking with us. This has been a night of great information, knowledge, and resources. And as you all know, the purpose of Black Professional Men is to ensure the future of the African American male. And the way that we do that is by educate, activate, and elevate. And I think we accomplished that tonight. We educated, we activated, hopefully, and we're elevating each and every one of us, both individually and collectively as an organization, and those that we partner with and that we're connected with. So don't forget to share. If you have a Facebook page, please share this. This will be on the Black Professional Men's Facebook page. So you want to share it out to let people know the things that we have going on, how they'll be able to donate for the Thanksgiving event that we have going on as well. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. If there aren't any more questions or any more anything that anyone wants to close out with, we're going to say we're actually on time for a thing. I think we might even
somebody just put an announcement in the chat.
Yeah,
Shadi,
Kendrick.
Can you do the membership closeout, please?
Kendrick had something he wanted to speak on too, about the Black Caucus this weekend.
Kendrick, take it away, Kendrick.
Got it. If you can hear me, I'll keep my camera off. I wanted to see if Darius Stanton was in the room. If you could bring him on, he's one of the chairs of the Black Caucus Foundation. I think that might be a positive event that we want our guests and partners to know about, and to make sure. Did he just text me? So Darius Stanton should be in the. Is he in the room? I'm not sure.
Don't see him as yet, Kendrick.
Nope. Okay. Well, I just wanted to let everyone know.
No, they
that
don't see him.
he said he was coming in, so I'm not sure. If not, no worries. We're on time, but the Black Caucus Foundation is this weekend. The conference is expected to have 1,500 individuals. So I was on. Definitely have us get a booth from the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. Of course, Black Professional Men is a member of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, so you can definitely be involved with our booth or purchase one for our own selves.
Can you put that information in the chat, Kendrick?
I sure will.
Okay, cool. And Shadid, did you have something that you wanted to close us out with?
Yes. Our mission is to ensure the future of the African American male. And for the past going into 30 years, BPM has supported the college journey of young men through the annual scholarship fund. Membership is the one way that you can go from being a spectator, and I'm talking to the people who are viewing this on Facebook, on YouTube, and Periscope. So if you can hear my voice, obviously you're tuning in because you have a love for the community and you want to use your talent, your skill, or your success as a way to give back. And so BPM is opening up its doors to membership, and there's various options to get involved, whether you are a business owner, whether you are husband and wife power couple, or if you're an individual with a talent, a business, or a particular skill where you want to volunteer in order to serve your community, there is a spot on the roster for you. So if you have any questions, please comment below on the Facebook video, and a member of the team will reach out and get the discussion going on how your skills, your talents can be leveraged in order to help us with our mission, which has been going on for 30 plus years, almost 30 years, which is to ensure the future of the African American male. With that being said, doors are open. Thank you, Leroy.
Thank you, everybody. We want to thank y'all for joining us this evening, and we hope everyone will have a safe and pleasant evening and then enjoy the rest of your week. Thank y'all, and as usual, we will see you all next month, same time, same place, and we look forward to having you all there. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Go Veterans.